resources and tools to equip them to be successful, but we also want to equip them to communicate and be able to collaborate with the entire organization. Let's take a deeper look into some of the features we have.
So I have a lot to show you, so I'm going to kind of click through some screenshots here to make this the most efficient in our last 5 minutes. So are any of you or your organizations using the Shifts management app in Teams? A couple? Okay, good. So for those of you who aren't familiar, and this was alluded to earlier in the presentation, Shifts allows us to circumvent that problem that Deandra was just talking about. So I'm able to actually see all of my shifts here. This can be configured by our IT admins at our organizations so that when a first-line worker downloads the Teams app and signs in with his or her credentials, they have a customized view here where maybe only shifts and chat shows up because that's what's important to them. So I have a view here of my upcoming shifts, and maybe I open one of those up. I also have the ability here to swap shifts or offer one up. This is a very common action, as Deandra mentioned, in first-line work. Maybe we want to swap shifts. That seems like a simple thing to do, but it's a complicated process, whereas we need to be sure that she's working the appropriate amount of time, I'm working the appropriate amount of time, and our managers have approved it. So if I go to do that, I can click on somebody's upcoming Friday shift and request to see if this person will swap shifts with me. I can also go ahead and search for open shifts to see if there's anything that I might want to pick up without going over my allotted work hours for the week. So once I choose a shift, a notification will be sent to my manager for his or her approval so that they can acknowledge and confirm that I can do that. And then I can go on with my day knowing that I am in compliance. Perfect. So the next thing I'm going to click into here is the time clock. So the built-in time clock that's built into the Shifts experience in Teams, it makes it really easy for me to visually track when my shift starts, and then also visually track how long I've been on my shift. And then I can go ahead and even track my break times, which I know is very important to keep track of that I'm working a regular day. And for first-line workers, being on your mobile device is often the nature of the job. That's sometimes the only device that they're using, and often it's their personal device. So I want to make sure to keep that secure and compliant at all times. Now last week we announced several new capabilities coming to the management experience for first-line workers. So it's all about empowering our first-line workers, first and foremost, to stay compliant and efficient themselves, and also empowering first-line worker managers to take a lot of actions that are important here without putting the burden on IT. So first I want to talk about off-shift access. So when users want to access Teams outside of their working hours, a notification will pop up that is showing them, hey, you're accessing this off hours. I've just acknowledged that you're not being paid for this. But oftentimes, even when I'm not working, I want to go in and access my schedule, maybe make a swap, but I need to acknowledge that this is not on the clock time, and off-shift access allows us to do that. Global sign-out. With a lot of first-line work, workers are often logging into multiple applications on multiple devices at any given time. I know that was true for me when I worked in retail. We had several different machines that we were logged into. And when I leave for the day, I want to be able to globally sign out and make sure that my identity is signed off of all devices and all applications that I was logged into. Delegated user management. So this is that piece really about empowering those first-line worker managers. So let's say, for example, I'm a first-line worker manager, I have 20 workers that I manage, and one of them loses their phone, gets a new phone number, and I need to add their new phone number in to be able to manage them as a user so they can work that day. Today, I might need to get a hold of my IT administrator. It might be a day-long process where they have to figure out what it is, they have to approve that this change can happen, we have to verify the phone number with the user. now the first line worker management can take a lot of these actions without putting the burden back on IT. We also announced SMS sign-in, which is extremely important for first-line workers, especially who are working multiple jobs. It's great to be able to sign in and verify your identity just with your phone number. So you see here, they're being sent a code to verify their phone number and then verifying which account they're logging into on their phone. We also have several announcements that have to do with the healthcare space specifically. So you'll see here the patient coordination app that is specific to healthcare and actually integrates with electronic health records, as well as the ability to hold virtual consultations. So this is something that's important to the healthcare space when you're meeting virtually with your doctor or nurse, but it also really comes into play in a lot of other industries. Imagine interviewing recruits who don't use Teams. Now I can actually schedule those in Teams and make it a seamless experience for both parties, however they want to join. Now we only have about 10 seconds left, so I didn't get to quite a few of these, but I do want to mention some of those that I have listed in the generally available column. There's so much that we've done with the Microsoft Teams mobile application to make it easier for you to do your jobs mobily. And we know that, number one, you're expecting all of the features that you have on the desktop to be available on your phone, and our parity is unmatched, as well as the ability to do things that are specific to your mobile device. And we know that we're competing with applications like WhatsApp that our users use every day to circumvent corporate policy. So we're making the Microsoft Teams app on both iPhone and Android better and better every day, and you'll see so many of these features that we're constantly, improving upon the experience to compete with those consumer applications, so that our users don't have to circumvent corporate policy by running off to consumer applications and ending up, getting us into a world of trouble. So thank you guys all so much for your time today. You'll have access to these decks afterwards and are able to use all of these links effectively. We have hundreds and hundreds of resources and people at Microsoft and Microsoft services and partners who are here to help you with your team's journey. And we have all of that supporting technical documentation, end user help, and then actual